Ladies and gentlemen, we're back for another episode of Bad News, where we give you the bad news and bad news only. I'm here to ruin your week. Not so much bad news this week. It depends what you feel about it. Winter Wonderland is round the corner. Winter Wonderland, for those of you who don't know, is the final round for women who set the aim of finding a boyfriend for that year. The whole year is geared up towards getting an invite to Winter Wonderland. You're in January, you're miserable. February was rough. You saw all of your friends in relationship posting photos of their dirty boyfriends who were probably cheating on them. You got to March, you got to April, things were looking up, the sun started coming up, you started going out more. Maybe you met a guy. And then June, the romance began. You met him. And he wasn't a complete bastard. He's a little bit of a bastard, but not a complete bastard. Things started progressing after a couple of months. You made it exclusive. You're now in the honeymoon phase and it's October. November times, he says, Winter Wonderland's coming next year. Or in a month, sorry. Do you want to go? And you're sat there like, yes, I'd love to. For years, I've watched all my girlfriends go to Winter Wonderland with their boyfriends, and now I also get to go and spend £300 in a frozen hellhole. Thank you. And that's what it is. It is a frozen hellhole, Viraj. Have you been Winter Wonderland, Viraj? No. No? Have you ever had anyone to go with, Viraj? No. I'll take you, princess. Thank you. And we can also spend £262 with our small family. Because it's expensive. If you want to go impress your friends and get a photo under a bright arch for no reason, look how happy we are. Look at us. We are happy. We have a photo under the arch with tourists looking confused walking into our shop. We're happy. I've spent so much money. I waited in the cold for an hour, even though I bought fast track tickets to get this photo. We're happy. If you want to do that with your loved ones, it's going to probably cost you upwards of £262 if you take your children with you. Okay, let's do a breakdown. All right, so you and your wife, you're trying to save the marriage. Yeah. So you're taking your two horrible children, your two horrible ideas to Winter Wonderland to give them a nice time. You've worked all week. You know, you're an average London salary. You're making £500 a week. You're on £2,000 a month. Right? Trying to support a family on that. Total cost £262. So 2.5 days of your work week has gone to taking your two little bastard children to Winter Wonderland. Let's do a little cost breakdown, shall we, Viraj? Okay. So ticket entry fee, £30. There never used to be an entry fee. Do you remember those days? There was no entry fee back then. You could just waltz in like a man and not spend any money and just enjoy the ambience. That's when Winter Wonderland was good. When you didn't actually have to do anything there. You could just walk around for a bit, in and out. In and out. Don't even look at the crepes. You'd hit someone if they looked at the crepes. But should we get a crepe? And you, shut up! No! £7 for a crepe. In and out. Can't do that anymore. It's 30 quid just to get in. All right, we need soft drinks for the little bastards because they need to drink. £9.50 for a hot chocolate. That's upsetting. No hot chocolate should cost £9.50, should it, Viraj?
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't. How much would you spend on a hot chocolate, Viraj?
£3.
£3. That's reasonable. A good hot chocolate as well. And by the way, there are some places that do expert hot chocolates, right? Where they put all the shavings in there. The family hot chocolate recipe has been there for 300 years. They're importing the chocolate from Belgium. 3 people have had to die to get you that hot chocolate. That can cost £9.50. They're doing the Cadbury's with the water, bruv. I've seen them. It's not worth £9.50. £19 on that. Hot dogs. Got to feed the family. Total of 64 quid for hot dogs. That's an absurd amount of money for hot dogs. Explains itself. A pint for dad. He needs a drink. He doesn't love his wife anymore. His kids are taking him for everything he's worth. The job is stretching him. It's not his dream job. He's doing it to provide for these kids that he thought were a good idea. Man needs a pint. Mulled wine so mum can get her Instagram photo and her Facebook pic for the girls. crepes because the kids moaned about it. Dad, I want a crepe. I want a crepe. They're going to spill it on the floor anyway. 20 quid. Giant wheels, so you can look at the look at Winter Wonderland that has extorted you from your money from an aerial view. Look at all the money you spent from an aerial view. So to tell you a messed up story about my experience on the big wheel.
Yeah.
So when I was 16, I went with my girlfriend at the time. She was also 16, right? To clarify. We were two horny 16-year-olds, right? When I say we got off on that big wheel, we got off on that big wheel, bruv. No shame. No shame. No shame whatsoever. I would never do that in a million years now. But at 16, I was like, jump on my lap. But at 16, you don't give a fuck, do ya? You're just living your damn life. All right, so yeah, giant wheel to watch a bunch of teenagers finger each other on a merry-go-round. Okay, family ticket including 2 cloakroom items, £2 each. Oh, piss off! Don't spend your money on that. 50 quid for that. And the real ice slide. I've been down that slide, yeah, and it does cost a tenner, and it lasts for 10 seconds, and the queue is half an hour. So you queue half an hour to go down a slide, and it's not made of ice, by the way. Winter Wonderland is back. It's the Christmas season. I enjoy Christmas. As a Muslim, I enjoy Christmas. I like the ambience. Like last week, I went for a roasting and then I watched Elf. Phenomenal day. Lovely day. But you got to enjoy Christmas on your own terms. You can't fall into the traps of doing the things because it's the pressure to do it, you know? Like going to Winter Wonderland. Or watching a movie you genuinely don't like. Hey, it's Christmas, we have to watch it. Do what you like. Christmas is a personal experience, you know? So as a Muslim, we have a Christmas tree, right? But the way my mum swears it off in her head, she doesn't call it the Christmas tree. She calls it the New Year tree. And it's like, Mum, I don't know who you're tricking here. Who are you fooling? We're celebrating Christmas, Mum. I know it makes you uncomfortable, but you enjoy it as well. We get a halal turkey. There's hummus on the table. We have a good time. But that's Winter Wonderland. So if you're a young family and you're making, I don't know, 500 quid a month, your missus works part-time because she's got to look after her kids, so she's making another, I don't know, 250. Not 500 quid a month. What am I talking about? That'd be extortionate. 500 quid a week. Your missus making 250 a week, 750. You've spent 262 and 50 pence of that on Winter Wonderland. That's upsetting, isn't it? Would you take your family if you were making that kind of money, Viraj?
No.
How much would you have to make a week to spend £260 on one day out with the family?
That's a good question, actually.
I reckon at least £1,000 a week to want to spend.
So that means you're doing £4 grand a month.
Yeah.
Bills, mortgage.
Yeah, it adds up.
Kids,
That's an
schools.
expensive day out. Back when we were young,
That's a holiday.
yeah. Back when we were young, our parents, back in our day, you go to the cinema, mate. You'd get yourself a cinema ticket. You'd get yourself a popcorn and a drink. You'd go to Nando's, all for 3 quid. 3 shillings, mate. Nowadays, costs an arm and a leg, mate. And do you know why? It's because of the dirty immigrants, mate. They've done this to us. It's because of Viraj and Rishi Sunak. You still haven't apologized for Rishi Sunak, but that's fine. That's Winter Wonderland, ladies and gentlemen. Viraj, shall we move on to our next topic? Gen Z is breaking up with dating apps, Ofcom says. Watchdog says Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, Grindr have all seen dips in use since last year. Okay, millennials, let me tell you something about Gen Z and dating apps. They have never cared about dating apps. We cared about dating apps. It's a millennial experience. They inherited dating apps. They never cared about it. It's not cool to them. Gen Z do not meet people on dating apps. That's a disgusting idea for them. Do you know where they meet their people? At protests. That's where they meet people. They're not scumbags like us, where they can't look people in the eye. We can't. They say Gen Z, they have no social skills. We don't have social skills. They're great. I teach Gen Z. They're good. They're good. They make their TikToks together. We were solo on social media. They use their TikToks together. Here's how organized Gen Z is with social media. A typical Gen Z person has 3 accounts. Yeah. They have their brand. because they've all got a brand, right? They've got their family account, and then they've got their troll account where they bully other kids in their school from, right? And normally, like, their display picture is a picture of like Eric Cartman or something, right? So they can stay anonymous, and they call you fat and ugly from it. They're organized. They're not scumbags like us. They're not swiping mindlessly. They have an idea who they want to date. They've compartmentalized. They have cut. Gen Z are so good at compartmentalizing their feelings. They're not complicated like us, right? They have a person they like, they have a person they sleep with, and they have a person who they think they're going to marry when they're 47. They're good at it. We complicate things. We're the problem. They're good. They don't need Tinder. If you Do you really think someone who's born in 2004 is going on Hinge with us cretins? They do not give a fuck about us. In 2004, they were born during Euro 2004. They don't even remember the confusion of Greece winning the Euros. They're not on Hinge. They don't care. If a gay person in Gen Z wants to have sex, they don't need to go on Grindr. They just go outside and they make a Gen Z mating call. Do you know what it is? It's this. Okay, 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 and they have sex. Not like us sitting there going, she looks like she doesn't have a good family. She looks like she'd be high maintenance. She's too pretty. I'm fat. She'd never like me. Oh, she seems nice. Oh, fuck it. I ran out of swipes. All right, let me pay for exclusive premiere access. How much is it? £200 a month. Yeah, if it means I find someone to hold that night, I could go to Winter Wonderland with. Gen Z are not going Winter Wonderland. They do not care. Gen Z do not go anywhere because they're everywhere. They are ever present. You silly gooses. You really think Gen Z care about dating apps? Their whole life is a dating app. They're building brands, bro. They're saving the world. Scroll down a bit. Let's see what the numbers are, shall we? So go down to the key of the photo because it's got a little statistic there for us. Bit higher, Viraj. There we go. Tinder has lost most users out of the UK's top 4 dating apps, with 600,000 fewer people using it since 2023. Do you know why? Because Tinder is feral. You go to Tinder now if you're looking to catch a quick STD. You go to Tinder when you go, haven't had chlamydia in a while. Let me just relaunch some of that chlamydia, shall we? The UK's dating scene is swiping left on popular apps such as Tinder and Hinge as younger people turn to real life ways of connecting. Scroll down. Potential partners, according to the UK's communication watchdog, they're going to protests, right? They're going to coffee shops. Have you seen coffee shops recently, Viraj? Man, people love a coffee shop these days, man. Coffee shops now aren't just coffee shops now. They're restaurants, they're dating spots, they're dog groomers. What else do they do? Their their happy ending salons, um, their community town hall meetings, their churches. There's people doing namaz in the corner and then having and then going on a date in the other corner. They're having a good time. Gen Z don't care. Stop thinking Gen Z care about your shitty apps. They're making their own apps. They're having full-on conversations with AI about how to kill us. They do not care about the apps we invented. They never cared about dating apps, so don't act surprised that they're not on it. And to be honest, we shouldn't want them there. I want to be there with my millennial friends talking about millennial things. No, do you remember MSN? You know what's growing up as a millennial? Growing up is realizing you probably got groomed on MSN. I definitely got groomed on MSN, 100%. Viraj, did you get groomed on MSN?
I didn't use MSN.
You didn't use MSN. Do you know why? Because you're Gen Z, you bastard. We've got a Gen Z in this room. He's just in disguise. He wears his glasses on his head, wears all black and has a beard and he's bald. But we see through you. We know you're one of them. You know how I know you're one of them? You've got AI for everything. Anyway. Next article, please, Viraj. Okay, now this is a millennial article if I've ever seen one, right? I couldn't stop watching porn. Personal stories have how porn obsession takes over lives. Listen, we've all been through it, mate. That's a man who's seen some stuff. That's a man who's gotten to page 9 on Pornhub. Have you ever been to page 9 on Pornhub? It is a dangerous place. You know when you get to Pornhub and there's like a video that's only been viewed 400 times and the approval rating is 42%? Bro, that's where he got. He didn't want top 10 verified. He wanted under a bridge. Yeah. He wanted under a bridge, right? 92-year-olds. The video is 2 minutes long. You can't even see the guy's genitals because he's so fat. It's just leaping over his ball bags. And the audio is so bad and you just hear him going. Achoo! That's where he got. And when you get to that place, it's a very dark and unfortunate place. You should moderate your porn usage. Isn't that right, Viraj? Viraj, how long did you go without watching porn? That time.
26 years.
You went 26 years without watching porn?
Mm-hmm.
Did you really?
Yep.
Damn. Damn, man. And it's weird because you're only 23. Don't know how you did that. He's ever present. I watch porn. Less these days, but I gander in the porn. Someone was telling me about a porn video they watched the other day, and they just said one brief description about the porn star, and I guessed the name, and they looked at me like, "How much porn do you watch?" And I was like, "Listen, I know porn stars like I know Premier League footballers. I know their stat sheet. I know where they're at in their careers. You know, I'm old enough where I've seen some porn stars' entire career. I've seen them from when they were in the teen category to now they're in the MILF category. And it's amazing to see the progression, you know, the refinement of the skills. Because when they first start off, they're just going willy-nilly. There's no control. But you see the skill set progress over the years. And by the time they get to their late mid-30s, they are artists. It's artistry. But porn obsession is a real thing. It's dangerous. It can ruin your life. It can ruin your relationships. There's people who stop having sex with their partner because of their porn addiction. It can destroy marriages. A lot of the time, sex addiction overlaps with porn addiction. I think Sandra Bullock's husband had a sex addiction. But then again, if I was married to Sandra Bullock, I'd probably have a sex addiction as well. But that is a man who's seen some stuff. Look at this. Never get to page 11 like I did. Also, another indicator of you've got a porn addiction is when you stop using the mainstream websites. If you've gone from Pornhub to singlexandxsluts.net and you need to create an account to get in and verify that you're not from a government computer, you've probably gone too far, bro. Next article, please, Viraj. Look at this guy. Okay, scroll up a little bit. Okay, so here at Smoke Sessions, we don't like to just leave stories where they are. We are journalists, aren't we, Viraj?
Mm-hmm.
We do journalism at the highest order. We don't just quit on our stories. We follow them through and we give you live updates. Last week, we told you about the $6.2 million banana that was sold. This week, we're here to tell you that the man who bought it for £4.9 million, he ate the banana. He looks like he loves banana-shaped things in his mouth, to be fair. That's a man who's definitely got a bit of a porn addiction. So this banana has caused outrage amongst Gen Z in particular. People are saying, with all the suffering in the world at the moment, how is a banana being sold for £6.2 million? Let me tell you why. Because rich people will do rich people things. White people will do white people things. Unfortunately, this is clearly an Asian man who's letting down the team. This is a white man who's intervened in white people doing white people things, and he's going to get a lot of hate for it, but he's probably going to enjoy the hate. He looks like it makes it horny. It makes him horny. Look at that face. Look at that face. He said the banana tasted pretty good. For £4.9 million, it better. I want to. I want to know what I need to do from here onwards where people would validly buy a banana from me for $6 million. Like, how do I get that kind of clout where people are like, okay, buying a banana from you for $6 million makes sense? Like this guy, this artist who made it, he's clearly done other things, right? Otherwise, no one would trust him to eat the £6 million banana. A cryptocurrency entrepreneur has kept his promise and eaten a banana. Who made him promise that? Please eat it. We want to see you eat the artwork. Justin's son snapped up viral art piece, Comedian, consisting of a single banana duct taped to a white wall in an auction at Sotheby's in New York last week. Do you know why it was taped to a white wall? Because this is white people shit, so it's appropriate that the wall is also white. The Chinese-born businessman immediately revealed his plan to destroy the artwork by enjoying the fruit as a snack, and at a news conference today, he delivered on his words. There was a news conference. 34-year-old took a bite and told reporters, "It's much better than other bananas. It's really quite good." He's clearly a nepo baby of some sort. And this is the sad world we live in, Viraj. We're giving you the update. It does sadden me, but there you go. I'm not even that mad at it. There's some people who are fuming at this. I'm not that mad at it. You can't stop this stuff. We've got bigger problems. If you think this is ridiculous because there's people starving, then also ignore it because there are people starving. We can't focus on this. Next article, please, Viraj. Okay, this is exciting for Jacob Rees-Moggs fans, right? So there are two types of people in this world. There are Taylor Swift fans and there are Jacob Rees-Mogg fans, and then there's everyone else, right? Jacob Rees is the poshest man ever to live, if you don't know him. He's stuck in 1942. He's a Conservative MP. He dresses his kids like they're little Victorian slave owners, right? And that's his whole brand. That's his whole brand. That's what he does. That's what he's famous for. He says terrible things. He campaigned for Brexit, and now he's got a reality show, right? The reality show is probably going to do very well because people love shit like this. People like seeing behind the camera. We did it with Katie Price. We did it with Kim Kardashian. And now we're apparently going to do it with Jacob Rees-Mogg. Let's roll the trailer on how incredibly posh this man's life is.
I have a gong. Bang. The children will appear miraculously.
Pause it.
Unfortunately, it is completely ineffective and
That gong used to be for slaves. Anyway, carry on.
invariably ignored. Welcome to Gurney Court. I'm Jacob Rees-Mogg. I've been living here with my wife Helena and now 6 children. And we're
Pause it.
opening it up to viewers of Discovery
This man has 6 children, which means he's had sex 6 times. Continue.
Plus. This is the winter parlour. Everybody focuses on the Mogg clock, M-O-G-G. This is a replica of one of the nails from
Pause
the
it.
crucifixion of Christ.
Pause it. So rappers wear chains with their names on it. He has clocks with his initials on it. And he's got a nail from the crucifixion of Christ there. Because whenever anyone sees him, he likes to think that they're seeing a little bit of Jesus in him. Anyway, continue.
The crucifixion of Christ. My father meeting Lyndon B. Johnson in the Oval Office in the White House is me with my father. So there's the highlights of here. The most Riz bits of here, I think. Is that right? Mary will tell me off for that because I probably got it wrong. So this portrait of Helena was given to me by my mother-in-law as a wedding present. There is another Rees-Mogg hidden in...
So I'm assuming that's a portrait of his wife wearing what I can only assume is a dress that makes him incredibly hard because she looks like a 17th century British queen who's on her way to colonize another country. Continue playing.
Inside in the form of Thomas. This portrait of me is done by Alex Chamberlain, who I met in London. I think he did it extremely well. I have a gong. Bang. The children will appear miraculously. Unfortunately, it is completely ineffective and invariably ignored. The reason this chair is so important is it's the Wi-Fi chair. If I'm working in the long gallery, the Wi-Fi honks out. So when I need to look something up, I have to come and sit here. And this is the long gallery. I'll show you what it was used for when the house was a hospital. This is a little miniature of Charles I.
Pause it. In typical Conservative fashion, he's taken something that used to be a hospital and privatized it into his own home. Continue.
in his own hair. We have soldiers, which I remember rightly are Peters. People used to accuse me of being the honourable member for the 19th century.
Was it? If this guy was ever our defense secretary and we went into war with Russia, he'd insist we abandoned the tax and tried to take him on horseback. Continue.
House of Commons, which I always thought was remarkably modern.
He would, though, innit?
I wander around Somerset like a jailer. I have so many keys.
Was it? I genuinely thought he just said I roll around Somerset like a J-bag. Anyway.
Did you
Continue.
hear what he said?
Like a what?
Like a jailer.
What's a jailer?
I think it's a
Like
J-Lo.
a jailer with keys.
What's that mean?
Like someone that works in a jail with keys.
Opens the cell.
Opens the cell doors.
Oh, right. What does that even mean? What does he mean by that? I don't get it.
Because he has so many keys, he walks around like he owns a prison.
Right. He does own a prison.
What's it
British,
called?
the British public.
So I've got two cars in here. The one I've had the longest, which is my 1968 Bentley T-Series. And then the car I've had more recently, 1936 Derby Bentley.
That's quite sick, not gonna
Do
lie.
you like my new benches? Yeah, they've just come. So we've got a wonderful view up
His
here.
garden is sick.
With a sundial and apple art, which Helena gave me as an anniversary.
I kind of want to watch this now, I'm not gonna lie.
Statue of the Blessed Virgin keeping an eye on everything. So we could have a look at the grapes, actually. Let's go and have a look at the grapes.
Yeah, let's look at the grapes.
Wonderful vine here. Hello, I'm Jacob Rees-Mogg, and my new show is coming to Discovery Plus soon.
Brand new. Meet
How
the
lovely.
Rees-Moggs.
It's, you know what's nice about the shows? It's nice to show a typical British family. Because we all live like that, don't we? We all do it. We all do it. You know when you after a long day of deciding the fate of working class people all around the country, and you want to go home and just unwind in your Bentley, and pick some grapes from your garden, and then look at ornaments you got from stealing from other countries. We all do it, don't we? It's nice. It's nice. And that's for this week's episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming for Bad News. If you want to like and if you want to subscribe, we'd love you to. Do stick around. And we will see you soon. Mwah.